Okay, so Credit Direct is the first, we can say we're the first structured non-bank financial services company in Nigeria. We ventured into a market or a terrain that was kind of muddy, mucky, unstructured, unattractive. In 2006, we started the investigation into this big space, the ones we call the unbanked and the underserved and non-served segments of the market. So Credit Direct is a company that came into existence because of the desire to touch people in the community when others were not willing to do that. And I'll tell you one of the reasons that this became more for us like a purpose-driven organization than a profit-driven organization. Okay. Because we were not looking for, where we can make money. We're looking for how, as a group, FCMB group, thinking about how we can touch life in the real sense, because we saw a major gap. We realized that only about less than 2% of Nigerians were having access to full, suite of financial service. And a whole lot of people were being left behind. So that was why we ventured. We ventured into that, the lower end of the middle class and the upper end of the lower class, because we know bulk of Nigerians are just in that space. Okay. So we created this model of being able to, augment what the banks were supposed to do, which is the aspect of lending, which was rare in our, in our environment at that time. So we ventured because we believe there's more to people's relationship with financial services organization than just to take their money and put in their savings in the current account. We just came in to be that bridge that connects the people to the services that they so much needed. So Credit Direct came as a child of necessity, as a catalyst in the community that needed to come at the time we came, so that we can open the door for other people to come and venture into that market. This question was asked by virtually everyone that talks to us. What do you guys feel? You created the industry and now you have, there are actually more than 10. There's a lot that is springing up, and I can tell you that. So the joy for us is that not just platforms springing up. The traditional financial institutions are also joining the foray. They join the club. They're seeing that, okay, these guys have opened the floodgate. We've been able to, what we call it within our system, sterilizing the environment that people thought was too toxic for them, so to say. So we've sterilized it in a way. To even tell you this, we've actually welcomed some, to the extent that some of the biggest ones in the industry today, they were the ones that we inducted into the system by ourselves. Because come to think about it, the market is super large. Nigeria population, as reported by the last report by World Bank, just 2018, estimated that the population of Nigeria is around 205. And if a country like Nigeria, with just 205 million people, has overtaken places like India, with over 1 billion people when it comes to contribution to the poverty population in the world, there's a cause for alarm. And for us, everyone needs to embrace this call. So getting more people to come to the industry is not the problem. It's actually what we do within that place, because profit attracts a lot of competition, but purpose is doing what people are not willing to do. When people are not willing to do it, that's the thing that differentiates us from the newcomers into the industry. We came to fulfill a purpose. They come to extract the profit. To have the right people working for you that share the same dream that you dream, is a different thing. To also have the kind of organization that believes in what you're doing, to support what you're doing, it's another critical factor. So we did not come alone. We came out of a group, a financial services group, FCMB group, and we know that our purpose connects. So for us, few things will separate us. We have the purpose, we have the people. Credit Direct today, when you talk about non-bank financial services, sector in Nigeria, aside from being the pioneer organization in that, we are still the ones with the best quality of personnel, at the management level, middle management, and the lower management. So let me just give you in a nutshell what separates us from others, what keeps our company strong. One, we have the purpose, we have the people, we have the solution, which people naturally call the product, and we have the community that embrace us, which is the entire ecosystem of the people we've worked with, and we have the customers that are super loyal to the organization. I would say absolutely. Because how else do you want to explain it if you have over 80% returning customer, since the time we started? So I think there's a lot of trust, and few organizations at the time we came in, even all over the world, few organizations will do what we did from day one, even when we're not clear. So when we started out in 2007, you can imagine a statement like this coming out at that time, even when today people still doubt that when you say you're going to give them loan within a day, you're able to do it. We came out with a tagline. We said unsecured loans within 24 hours. That was the first time anyone would dare to say to the people, check me out, hold me by my word, I will do exactly what I said to you. And that you can, it's not a promise that is endless. It's not whether you can or do. The trust can be so deceptive when people cannot track what you mean by the word that you say. We came out with a complete commitment because we know that our organization and our people were built to respect the desire of the people, and we knew what our customers wanted. So when we came out and said, we want you guys to hold us by our words, but this is how to test. Ask us for this, and we'll give it within this time. So that has been in the DNA of Credit Direct since we started. It lives with our people, not just on our lips, it's on our heart. And we bear it everywhere. We're the first organization also to say there are no hidden charges. That was the time that hidden charges was the norm in the financial services sector. And we open everything up for people to understand. When it comes to the expansion that our company has seen since we started, I would say that the anchor for our strength and the loyalty of our customer has been on the basis of whatever they say to you they will do, they will always do. So trust is certainly one of our strengths. Okay, so this is what I will say to you about our repayment models. Okay, so we are in a few markets. We have the public, we're the strongest in the public sector, the strongest in the entire financial services industry when it comes to lending to the public service, in Nigeria. Aside from that, we're also very strong in the private sector. We're pushing, some models into the SME space, and then we're also one of the strongest when it comes to lending to the youth segment. The NYSC, the core members, so as organization, we want to embrace everybody. And in addition, let me also add this, the people with disability, we are just about to launch a robust program for them because we believe they're part of our community and they needed to be touched. So as organization, we don't chase the norm. We just want to do the unusual and let people see that, okay, when we lead the trail, when we lead the charge, others, we don't mind who is following. You can be a giant. You may be the little, rat somewhere, but we know that, when purpose drives you, you do different things. So to actually put this together, as an organization, we believe that in all that we do, we should always ensure that the repayment model is not the type that would make you to be poor. So we engage in training, on financial literacy. We engage even your employer in the process of ensuring that even their own system work to empower you the more. And we encourage our customers to understand the usage. So we capture the usage to encourage them on the usage of the funds that they are taking so that they're not, indebted further. So when it comes to financial discipline, we're leading that charge. Responsible lending, we're leading that charge. So our repayment model is both, deduction at source, is also, direct payment. It's also using a lot of innovation and technology to drive payments across different places. Let's start from, philosophical answer. Life is risk. Yeah. You don't want to take risk, just don't live. And so that are the foundation of everything. We can say that, risk is the same thing as having faith. Because when you faith, you also mitigate it by your faith in something. Yeah. So we have a lot of experience behind us. It couldn't have been riskier now than when we started. So our learnings have gone through turbulences, different cycles of, seasons, recession, commodity pricing, crashing, and a lot of things. And I would just say that, part of the things that we have done is to use those experiences, to use the data that we have, and also to help the community also grow. We work with a lot of the credit bureau to ensure that supply of data, management of data, integration of data is well done. The other thing that we have done quite well is also to have digital interfaces with with some of the fintechs or technology companies. We have a lot of partnership across different layers to ensure that not only for ourselves, but we want an industry that is thriving, so that the teeming Nigerians that must have access to borrowing, they're able to get some funds, because without those funding, the economy will not grow. Because it's not the top line that grows the economy, it's actually the middle class and the upper end of the lower class that will grow, because that's where a lot of us are. When you look at the Nigeria GDP, they will tell you that what oil is contributing to Nigeria GDP is just around 10%. Yeah. So there's a lot that you and I are doing in that space that's needed to be captured. And the more we expand the base, the stronger we are. When you look at the pyramid, the stronger the base, the stronger the entire structure. So that's what we're doing. A lot of things we have put into the learning to manage our risk, to mitigate our risk. And the other part is that we're within a group of companies. So there's a lot of discipline when it comes to governance. So we're leveraging knowledge from the financial services industry, within the financial services industry that we exist in. So within our group, the ecosystem supports us, and our learnings from the market also, they are huge leverage that we've used to mitigate the risk that the community or society presents. The time we came, nobody was preaching financial inclusion. So if if an organization can stand and say, okay, I'm championing financial inclusion, that one of the organizations in Nigeria could say that, it would be Credit Direct. Yeah. Because we created an industry that has attracted massive investment locally and internationally. So many young men are doing this business today, not because they dreamt it, but because they saw a model that works and they're willing to tag along and to do it. And we are happy for them. So how many people have been included? Okay, for us alone, since we started, we've disbursed loan to well over 1.5 million people. So when we define financial inclusion, when we bring the industry into that we've created, because we're the first structured non-bank, consumer lending organization in Nigeria. When you put the industry contribution together, you're talking about close to 10 million people that have been extended this service. And let us not forget something. When we say financial inclusion, virtually everybody will want to save money in the bank. But the other part of it, how inclusive is inclusion? When you talk about inclusion, would they be able to have access to the things that can grow their business? Can they leverage? So when it comes to inclusion, how inclusive are we defining the inclusion? Should it be access to everything that has to do with financial services? Because you can include people and they're still excluded from the main service that they want for their growth. So for us as an organization, we'll just continue to remain, the bridge that will try as much as possible to bridge the gap of inclusion that, even when people are sub-included, we are willing to add up and ensure that most of them are included. So, how inclusive is our inclusion? We cut across everything that has to do with inclusion. Because what people want is not to be able to save money. It's to be able to access money when they need it. And that is the role we are playing and the industry that have been created because we came. I know that this industry has employed well over 15, 20,000 people, lending to massive amount of people. So you can say that, a new world has emerged since we started, and, it can only grow. The best one would be that money is not an end in itself. Money is to serve a purpose. And whether you have it or you don't have it, you're a servant to the person that gave it. And you must find why you have it. Money should be respected for what it can do, but not what it makes you. Because you're not what you have, you're who you are. And so you just see money as a vehicle to serve others and to serve the community. One of the major advices, at least what I can say, is all about, find your space in your purpose. I use that word not because it's just anything. People talk about passion, but, purpose for me is being in a place where you live not for you, but you live to do things for other people. So your objective should not be to make money, because that's where most of us will get it wrong. Your objective is to be valuable and to influence life. And in the place of giving value, you become valuable. Because you are not going to attract value because you think you're valuable. It's the value that people get from you or what they contact from you that makes you to become valuable, to the point where they're willing to exchange the value in their hand with the value that you have. And if money is in their hand, they exchange that with you, and then your life becomes valuable because you are now attracting value in terms of the paper money. But for young guys, please just go for purpose. See people more like the way God sees them, because you cannot be fulfilled by just thinking about yourself. What fulfilled your life will be how many people you're able to influence positively in your life. And if you cut people on your way, there's no way you can stand, because everyone you meet on your journey, they're all part of the structure and the bricks that will build you up. So whichever way you travel, just ensure that you continue to impact people's life, because life itself is only worth living when people are living through your life.